Welcome to episode 233, part 2, Perimenopause. It's not just midlife hot flushes.
It really isn't. Now, before you listen to this episode, if you haven't already, we'd really urge you to listen to part 1. It's going to make this one make a lot more sense. Part 1 is episode 218. We actually recorded that a year ago, almost to the day, which I kind of love.
You love the synchronicity of that.
I do. And the other thing we just want to pop a little disclaimer in here that Joe and I, surprisingly enough, we're not doctors, we're not
No.
medical professionals whatsoever. We are just sharing our journeys, our story. And this episode in particular is more about Joe's story. Because guess what, guys? It's official. Joe, congratulations. Welcome to the club.
Thank you. Yeah, happy to be here. Maybe.
Maybe.
No,
How do you feel about it? Are you happy to be here? How does it feel joining the Perimenopause Club?
I mean, look, I wish that I didn't have the symptoms and that I didn't have to go through this in my life, but I feel like it's a good chance to reassess your life, to figure out what is the next season of your life once you go through menopause, and like who is Joe? My kids have been left home, in the next kind of like, I don't know, 9 years. Like what does that mean for me going through perimenopause over the next kind of 9 years, and then who is Joe after? So that's going to be interesting and fascinating. I'm looking forward to that.
Geez, you've gone deep straight away.
You know me, I like to think 10 years ahead.
I know. You're like 9 years, they'll be gone. I'm like 9 years. That's forever. Like, okay, for anyone that maybe doesn't know you, Joe. How old are you?
Okay, I am 43.
You're 43.
Mhm.
Okay. So, and when would you, like looking back, when do you think your symptoms first started?
Probably over the last year since we recorded the other episode, I feel like it started to creep in. And because it was like incremental, you know how something just kind of slowly creeps up and you don't realize that you're then at that point. So I feel like they probably started a year ago. And it probably started with like not being able to cope with a big workload like I would normally be able to cope with, and that brain fog that started to creep in over time. You just don't really notice until it's really bad. And then you're like, wow, actually, I never used to feel like this. Like, this is different now.
Yeah. I mean, and considering how much we have spoken about perimenopause, do you think that do you think it would have taken you even longer? Like had you not been along with me on my journey for the past, I don't know how many years, 3 years or so at least, do you think it would have taken you even longer than a year for you to finally go, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm here?
100%. Understanding the signs. And I am so forever grateful to you, Sam, because I probably would have put up with it for another year. Because I think it's also a hard thing to come to terms with, and I've seen this in friends as well. There is a part of you that just doesn't want to be going through that, or like accept that you are getting older, or accept that you're about to go into menopause. And I think it's really hard for women to realize that that is happening to them. So I think there's a lot of not wanting it to be the case, and a lot of denial about like, is this actually happening to me? And I think one of the most difficult things for me in like realizing that I was in perimenopause and having symptoms was that I feel like health being my number one value, I feel like I revolve my life and my lifestyle around health. It
Mm,
is so important to me that I think about intentionally what I eat. how I live my life, what toxins are around me. Like I've done a lot of work on that. And I thought that surely I could prevent the symptoms and go through this stage of my life without needing any intervention. So that was really difficult for me.
I mean, I don't think that is unrealistic expectation either, because there are women that can
Mm,
get,
mm,
go through this period of their life without needing any type of intervention. I'm sure
yeah.
there's women out there that've got no idea they've even gone through perimenopause. Like it's just been smooth
Exactly.
sailing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a big realization that I've had like in my health journey around this kind of time is that it actually, oh, this is so hard for me to say, but it even doesn't even matter what you eat, the toxins, like how you live your life, you exercise, if you have high stress. And I have realized that that is actually my issue, is the high stress, the high cortisol, and the nervous system not being able to shut off like it used to.
Mm,
That overrides anything that you do for your
mm,
health in terms of nutrition and exercise. And it's just really hard for me to like take that. But it
mm,
has made me realize that yeah, stress would have absolutely exacerbated the symptoms that I was having or are having.
mm. It was hard. It was hard to see. Like I don't I d- yeah, it wasn't like you turned up on one of our co-working sessions one day and all of a sudden you were a different person. Like you said, from the outside looking in to you and what you were experiencing, it definitely was that gradual thing.
Hmm.
But you over that year, you just kept on losing it. Like it wasn't Joe.
Yeah.
It wasn't Joe that was turning up. I mean, it was you in essence, but all the things, all those special things, all the sparky life things that would make you you, just kind of were. They just got duller and duller and duller. And I
Yeah.
remember, I think there was I can't remember what day it was. Something happened, and I think you must have been having a really tough week, probably a tough month. And something happened, and you laughed, and I was like, Joe. You laughed because I hadn't seen you laugh or smile, like a real genuine smile, in so long, and,
Mm.
like, I was relieved for you that you could feel that still.
Yeah. Yeah, that dulling of your spark, I think, is a really good way to describe it because I know that many women who are listening are going to feel like their spark is dull. One of the signs of perimenopause and your hormones changing, like I
Yeah.
think men just don't understand what it's like to have fluctuations in hormones and
Mm.
how much of a roller coaster that can be. Like I remember I can't remember exactly the timing, but I remember that time where I came on and then that morning I just cried for half an hour.
Mhm.
And you just let me just like absolutely wail and sob and you just held space for me. And it wasn't like something massive had happened. It was
Mm.
just I had no hormones to be able to cope with my life or anything that
Mm.
morning. And I think looking back, like that absolutely was a major sign that I was in perimenopause, like
Mm.
undeniably.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you were one of the strongest women I think I've ever met in my life in terms of the way, the Joe that I got to know over the past 7 years. You're the capable one, you're the pushy through one, you're the, yeah, okay, you have your little ebbs and flows, but
Mm,
you'd never let anything kind of stop you from reaching your goals. And all of a
yeah,
sudden, it was kind of like all that was just falling apart.
yeah. It was I felt like previously I had a lot of resilience and like there's just no resilience left. You just got nothing in the tank to be able to cope.
Yeah. Brain
Yeah.
fog? Brain fog.
Oh my gosh, the
Yeah.
brain fog. I think that is the biggest symptom that I had. Like sometimes I would just be like, I can't remember if I just did that thing. And I can't think.
Yeah.
I couldn't think about what's next, how to do something. You'd lose your words. Just work was difficult.
When it never had been before.
I felt work was easy until the last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, don't you really feel for women that don't have the freedom and flexibility that we have? Imagine turning up. Imagine turning. I know we talked about this in the first episode. Imagine fucking having to turn up to work day in and day out from 9 to 5 and show up and be a fucking 110% every day for somebody.
Yeah, if you were doing that right now and going through perimenopause, like, we don't know how that is even possible for you. I think back to, like, when I was working in a corporate and, there would have been plenty of women in their 40s going into their 50s, and I just was such a naive 20-something-year-old that I didn't even give it a second thought. But I now looking back, I was like, imagine what it would have been like for those women going through perimenopause and just not being able to cope with their, like, really high demand jobs. That was
Yeah.
just never talked about. I'd never even heard of perimenopause until just recently.
Have you, have you spoken to any women in your family in terms of their journey, like how it affected them? Because I think, from what I understand, it is kind of a little bit genetic. Like if your mum's kind of gone into it at a certain age, you're probably more likely to have it at the same age.
So, I remember asking my mum about it, but she was in denial. She didn't remember, and I was like, "Mum, do you not remember?" Because she was living with us when she was going through it. "Do you not remember you standing in the dining room and just crying and saying, 'I don't know why I'm crying?'" She'd, like, blanked it, completely forgotten about it. But, yeah, the hot flushes, definitely. The crying for just being really emotional for no reason,
Mm.
but I remember those things because she was living with me at the time.
So she would have been around the same age, do you think? 30, what, 40,
So,
43, 44?
that was when Lance and I first got together, so it would be around, like, 2016. So what is that? Yeah, that's, like, 10 years ago, so she's 63 now, so 53? Yeah, so
Okay.
just
Yeah.
yeah, early
Yeah.
50s.
Because you can experience perimenopause symptoms for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she might have been going through the brain fog and all that stuff and not even realized,
Yeah.
and that took her all the way through because she definitely didn't get any, like, interventions or patches or anything. She
Mm.
just went through it.
Yeah, speaking to kind of the older generation of my family, it's they may have tried some intervention and it just didn't work, or they were too scared to because their doctors told them if you have this, you're probably going to get breast cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. Which has been debunked now. Yeah,
Totally,
proven
guys.
wrong. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. It is so crazy that women, yeah, are still in denial about it. Like let's talk a little bit about the number of people that reached out to us, and even the number of men, the conversations with men we've had post that first episode that we released a year ago,
Mhm.
and the effect it had on them and their wives. Because I don't think anyway that when we released that episode that we had any clue as to the impact it would make.
It was incredible, and to know that there were so many women suffering in silence, either not knowing what was going on or being in denial, and husbands who see their wives who are not the woman that they married, someone completely different now because, like, things are so tough for them,
Mm.
and that they then had the information and the story and could relate to you so much because you were so open in that, Sam. If we remember, straight after that, you were like, "I don't wanna release that. No, what are people gonna think of me? Like, I don't think this is a good idea." And I encouraged you. I was like, "Do you know how many people this is gonna help?" Because I could just tell that people were gonna resonate with that so much, and they really did. And, like, you have saved marriages being that open because I think women getting some intervention, getting some help, their husbands now are so much happier. The wives are so much happier because now they can actually talk about this and understand, oh, this is ebbs and flows, hormones. And even Lance, he has just been so incredible. So I went on have started HRT like just over 3 months ago, and there were times where it takes a while, right, to get into this routine of remembering when
Mhm.
you're going to change your patch. And so one Saturday afternoon, I could not find my key, my gym bag. I just couldn't find it anywhere, and it was so emotionally frustrating that I couldn't remember. I was like, no, this is not happening. Like, I can remember this. I'm out on HRT. Like, why can I not remember this? This is not okay. And I went out into the car and I put my hood up and I just cried in the car because we needed to go somewhere. And Lance comes out and he was like, "Oh my, what is wrong?" And I was like, "I don't know. I can't find my bag, blah, blah, blah." And I just felt so shit. I just couldn't cope. And he was like, "Have you changed your patch?" And I was like, "Yes, I changed it. It was this morning. I did that." And then as we started driving, I was like, "But did I? Did I actually change it?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't actually think that I changed it."
Mm.
And we were already away from home at this point, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this isn't." We needed to go shopping to the mall. It was such a struggle getting through that day.
Wow.
And then as soon as I got home and put the patch on, like within an hour, half an hour to an hour, I reckon it starts working. And then
Mm.
everything, like the cloud, the veil just lifts.
Mm.
And now I could cope again.
I mean, I feel I have the same experience in terms of that almost immediate reaction after I put a patch on. So this is probably a good kind of reminder to anyone listening that if you are going down the HRT route and you're putting a patch on, I reckon if you don't feel the difference, you need to go back to your doctor and talk about dosage or the different brands that are
Mhm,
out there.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. If you don't feel a difference, like it's not working, there's something not right. You
Yeah.
need to change something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't necessarily give up on it straight away. Like
Yeah.
I think for some people it takes a while to get the right dose for
Mm,
them, the right
mhm.
brand for them. I know for me, I've tried now pretty much every single brand out there. I've
Yeah.
tried gels and patches. I haven't tried the oral. And I know that there is one brand of patch that I am on. I'm living my best life. If that patch of brand is not if that brand of patch is not available, boom, like I almost have
Mhm,
PTSD because I
mhm.
know for a fact, okay, patch A, my brain fog's going to come back, but everything else is going to be okay. Patch B, no brain fog, but I'm going to be shitty as fuck because I'm on my
Mhm.
period 24/7.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It is really interesting, because, like, it's the same ingredients, but something is different about them. Yeah, well, let's talk about Bali, where I realized that I was in perimenopause at that point, and we're in Bali, and you had known that, and you brought over a patch for me to try.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound like actually unbelievable, but I put the patch on, and within an hour, I felt so much joy. I was on fucking cloud nine and
Mm.
so happy, and I felt bouncy and young and like no brain fog and so much joy. And that made me realize at that moment, I was like, oh my God, when was the last time that I felt true joy? Because it's incremental. You forget what it feels like to feel young and joyous and bouncy and happy.
Repeat that. I think that's really important.
It's so incremental that you do not realize what it was like to feel so much joy. Like, it is possible again. It's not just like I'm just aging and so, like, I'm getting older and I just don't feel as happy. No, you don't have the hormones to give you that joyous feeling. And so if you are listening and you're like, "Oh," like, really have a think about it. Do you feel joy? And if not, like, it is possible to get that joy back.
Let's talk about the fact that I like I am so proud of you for being courageous and slapping that patch on, because at that point you knew you were you were like
Yeah.
99.9% certain, right?
Yeah.
But so you'd accepted it, but you were still wanting to go down. Like, we were having conversations, I think even like the day before we flew out. Oh yeah, bring the patch. I'll see how I feel. I might give it a go. So I thought, okay, no pressure. I'll bring it if it's there. If you want it, give it a go. If not, no big deal. But you're like, but I think when I get back from Bali, I'm going to book into the doctor because I want to see if I can have, what was it, the natural HRT?
Bioidentical, like,
Mhm.
I haven't even looked into it properly. I know that it is something, but I just felt so good on that patch that I was like, I'm just gonna do this. I may still look at that in the future, but
Yeah.
yeah, because I had this mental block that I had this goal that I wanted to live my entire life medication free. And I was like, "Oh, is HRT actually medicine? Like, is this
Mhm.
am I now not going to be able to live this kind of goal that I have?" So I've made peace with that and realized that actually, like, not feeling joy and having brain fog and like living a miserable life is just not worth it.
Yeah. But to put it into perspective for those listening, Joe, I think it's important for them to know that you don't even like to take Panadol, right? Like, it's at that point. When you say you want to be medication free, like to that degree.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I had a Panadol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a big mindset shift in accepting that, okay.
Mhm. Yeah, I need some intervention, and this is really helping me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in Bali, you slept on. We don't necessarily
Slapped it on.
we don't necessarily recommend doing this, right? However,
Sharing medication.
we know that sharing medication is not good.
Mm.
However, I think we were both, I mean, we're both in our 40s, right? We were both educated enough to know what is the worst that can happen with Joe putting on the lowest dose. And in fact, I think you cut it in half.
Yeah.
You cut it in half. So I don't even know what that patch was. I can't even
Yeah,
remember
but
the
I think
dose
you
of it.
had was it a 75 and I did half of it? Something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
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 Okay, so you slapped it on, you felt joy again.
Okay.
You did you book it? Did you wait till you got home to book an appointment, or did you book an appointment while we were in Bali so
Oh,
it was ready for when you got home?
I can't remember, but I think I might have booked it while I was in Bali, yes, because I
Yeah.
was like, "I need this." Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want it to end. I I felt like a drug fiend, like, "Give me my fix. I need this so bad."
And I think I gave you a couple, right, to get you through to your appointment, so at
I
least you had
think
something.
yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
'Cause I did
Okay,
not want it
how did that discussion with the doctor go? Were you honest? You were honest about it, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and I think, like, the doctor could tell I'm an intelligent woman, I know what I'm talking about, and so I went in and I was like, "Okay, I wanna talk about me going on HRT. These are the symptoms that I'm having." And he was like, "Okay." Talk me through, like, what's been happening. So I told him all about it, and then I said, I have a friend who's on HRT, she gave me a patch, and I described the feeling that I had after I put the patch on. And so he was like, "Okay, yep, like, I'm okay with you doing that, and like, it obviously has worked for you." So, yeah, he just took down all my symptoms, and yep, he was like, "Right, we'll start you on." He said, "How much did you have?" I think I must have had 50. Maybe I'd made it like two thirds of it or something. You're 75. And I was like, "Can I go on 50?" And he was like, "Yep, we can start you on 50. But I want to see you in 3 months." And yeah, as easy as that, really. Like, understood,
So
knew
good.
what I was talking about. He could clearly feel that. So yeah, it was no issue.
Amazing. I
Mm.
think, as you said, it helps that you're clearly intelligent. You've walked in, you go to the doctor often enough. You've had blood tests in terms of, how
Mhm.
you're physically fit. So there was probably no concerns, whereas
Mm,
I walked in and I was a mess and I was overweight. And they were like,
yeah.
I think we just need to make
Mm,
sure that there's nothing else going on.
yeah.
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 Great,
Yeah, so
great outcome for
completely
you though.
different experience to you, which I was so grateful for. But I think it helped that I was prepared and I knew what I could be walking into, and I like
Yeah.
documented all my symptoms. I could clearly articulate what was happening, and I tried something and it worked.
Yeah. And we even talked about the language, right? Like
Mhm.
worst case scenario, if your doctor's just like, oh, eye roll, because we just didn't know, right? This is the language that you use in order to
Mm.
actually make sure that you don't leave without something, with some type
Yeah,
of action.
yeah. I never said anything about anxiety, depression, or like anything like that because I did not want him to go down any route of like that kind of medication.
Yeah.
I knew that this was perimenopause and, like, that's what I wanted. Yeah.
Mm.
And I said, "Look, I know that there had previously been, like, issues with it being commonly thought that there was gonna be, like, cancer issues," and he was like, "Oh, no, no, no." Like, pretty
Mm.
much, like, no, he knows that that's not a thing anymore. So, he
So
was
good.
educated. Yeah.
So good. Yeah. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so happy that you had that
Mm.
experience because yeah, even now, like we're still hearing from women that don't have that experience. They leave going, yeah, they talked about antidepressants again. Or I think we were talking to one, I can't remember who it was, not that I'd name them anyway. And I think the getting the HRT wasn't going to be the issue. But in terms of what's the other thing that you have to be on when you're on HRT? I've gone blank. Pro
Progesterone?
yes. So in terms of having that, they wanted her to have an IUD inserted for it. I'm like, what? You can just take it orally, like really?
Yeah.
That seems extreme. If
Yeah.
that's not your chosen form of birth control, why would you want to insert something like that into your body?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, because I also had my Mirena out prior to that as well. So that because
Mm,
I was really wanting to go natural. Like, I'm
yes.
so about the natural life, which like, I need to really, like, articulate that. I'm all about the natural life. And, yeah, so I took my Mirena out, which is the form of IUD, and, yeah, got my natural period back and stuff, and Lance got the snip, and so that I could do that, and, yeah.
Mm,
So this was really going to be the only medication that I was on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm.
Amazing. Um, go.
Yeah, I was also wanted to say too that, like, I think the keeping an if you do go on HRT, noticing your symptoms if they are starting to return, because at about, like, 2 months, 1 week kind of into HRT, I started to get the night sweats again. And I started to feel like it just wasn't quite lasting or working because you have
Yeah.
like 2 patches a week. It just wasn't lasting anymore. So I cut my 50 in half and I added it so that I had 75 and put 2 patches on. So, and then no more night sweats, brain fog, everything all sorted again. So I was like, okay, I actually need to be on 75 now. So got a doctor's appointment on Monday to say, right, I need to up my dose.
And he's just gonna grin, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't he? He's
I'll
just
I'll
gonna
tell them exactly, like, what I've mapped
yeah.
out and
Yeah, that's
and
great
noted.
advice because I think for a lot of us when we're going through these symptoms, right? We it's easy to forget. Some of us, the brain fog just means we're not remembering. So writing it all down,
Yeah,
having that
yeah,
kind of log, having that journal, having a
yeah,
paper trail is such that you can walk in going, "This is what's going on."
yeah. So, like, I was talking to a lady at my gym, and she is perimenopause age, and she's on HRT. She's only on 25. She's like, "It
Oh,
doesn't do anything for me." And I was
oh my
like,
god! It
and then
would.
she comes in talking, like, about symptoms that I can clearly see from the outside, but she can't make that connection between, like, "Oh, I actually need to increase the dose." And she's never felt like it's really done anything. And I was like,
Oh.
"Can I give you some unsolicited advice?" "No, I'm not gonna do that." But I'm like, "Oh, maybe you need to think about upping your dose."
Mm. It's so hard, isn't it, when you have gone through it, are going through it, you see somebody really, really struggling. They're not getting the support that they need from the people that are around them, whether that's professionally or
Mhm.
otherwise. And you just want to go, oh my God. Okay, we don't believe in silver bullets, Joe. Like we're like silver bullets, what the fuck? Move along. But I really do feel for a lot of women, HRT is a silver bullet. You get that immediate fucking fix.
Immediate. Yep. Yep.
And
This is
just
not something that like, oh, you'll start to like have your symptoms ease over 2 weeks, like the doctor and the pharmacist said to me. And I was like, no, this is going to be instant. And I have felt this feeling before. It is
yeah,
that quick.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
having the knowledge now, it is so easy to see the symptoms in my friends around me. A friend that
Mm.
you and I both saw over in Bali, and we just like, I feel like we can telepathically communicate.
There was
Both
some
of
eye
us.
contact that was
Yeah.
happening for sure at that table.
So we were noticing the way that my friend was acting was
Mm.
very perimenopause symptoms. Like, she was a bit erratic, unsettled. Her emotions were like not regulated. She has a toddler. Her child was like really overstimulated, overtired, and like we could see this happening and all playing out, and she was not coping with it at all. And you and I just looked at each other, and I could tell that you were thinking exactly the same things. Like, this woman is in perimenopause. And even like going up to the counter, she'd accidentally or forgotten that she'd put the menu in her bag. And, then she was like, oh, what's this in here for? And then just a lot of confusion. And it was just so obvious to us that this person is in perimenopause. And we could see the immediate fix that this person could have. And yeah, I really felt for her.
Oh, I could have cried, honestly. It
Yeah,
was quite it was
that was emotional after she left, right?
it was
Mm.
quite triggering. It was
Yeah,
quite triggering. And I just wanted to give her the fucking biggest hug and go, yeah, it doesn't have to be like this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But she is now on HRT and now like
Oh, she
having
is
an
now?
intervention. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
amazing. Because I think she because you had kind of had some discussions with her, right? Before this point, before we saw her in Bali. So she'd gone to the doctor and didn't she have a test? Did she have a hormone test?
Yeah, hormone tests, which came back normal.
Now, this is not something that we discussed. No, I think it came up very briefly in part one. You asked me whether I had had a hormone test, and I
Mm.
said no, but I didn't really know much about it and whether or not that would have made an impact anyway. Since then, I've heard situations that's like this, where
Mhm.
women have gone and had the hormone test, it's come back normal. That means fuck all. It really does. It's not an accurate indicator of whether or not you are in perimenopause.
No, I feel like there's two things. One, it's not very accurate, but two, you would have to test every single day throughout your entire cycle to
Yes,
actually know what's happening with the hormones. You can't just do one test and be like, oh, your hormones are normal, or today they might be. What about the rest of the
exactly.
month? We are not small men. We are women on a cycle along with the moon.
Should we touch on that? Should we touch on that? We are not small men. The
Yeah.
most of the world is being created, society is being created for men by men.
Yeah. The work week, right? Men went out to work, they did a 9 to 5, they are synced with the sun, like they get their shot of testosterone in the morning to like wake them up, get them through, and they can work a 9 to 5 job or even longer every day, same cycle. Hormones are stable, they can cope with that. That is
Women, not
not
so much.
That's not for women. That is not how women work. So when we sent women out to work, the war happens, women have to go to work now, women want to go to work. You actually need to have two people in a household these days bringing in an income to even survive. And so now we're in this world where we are trying to be equal to men. We're trying to keep up with men. We're trying to compete with men. And we are working the same cycle daily as men when it just isn't biologically how women are wired.
Mm.
We're not built for that.
I feel like this is one of your new passions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cycles and being really in touch with your own cycle and working when it works for you, when you're feeling at your best, and sleeping, and like this is I love this journey for you. I love it. Teach us, Joe. Teach us.
Yeah, I mean that woman who was like, "Yes, empower women to go to work." Damn you, damn you! I could totally be like homesteading wife with the making the sourdough bread in the morning, regulating my nervous system. That would be amazing. But I mean, that's not realistic for how modern society works right now.
But there
So,
are things you can do, right? There are things that you can do in modern society that are in
mm,
sync with your cycle. I mean, I think it
yeah,
helps if you're in the type of industry like the virtual assistant industry where you might have that more of a flexibility in your schedule.
yeah. I think virtual assistants are not realizing the ability that they have to create a lifestyle that works for them, because this is programming that we have that says I feel productive and like I'm doing a good job and working hard if I work from 9 till 5 or 9 till 3 if you do school pickup, whatever you've decided. Actually doesn't have to be like that. There are things that you can change in your business to help support a lifestyle that you actually want. I mean, the first step is actually realizing what is the lifestyle that you want to have. How do you want this to feel? Like, what is the flexibility and freedom that you want? And then making decisions, what type of services you have, what kind of boundaries you have, expectations. Like, you get to set those terms with your clients. You could make this work around your cycle, or just generally like how you're feeling in terms of energy.
Yeah,
It is possible.
it's totally possible. And you can change it as your life change, as you go into the
Mhm.
next season of your life. You can change
Mm.
it as you change. This is not okay, this is the way I set up my business 5 years ago, and this is what it's going to be like until I decide to
Yeah.
retire.
Yeah. Yeah. So a little, what do they call it? Side quest just
I
then?
feel like it's all linked in though, right? Like
Well, it totally is.
it's the
Yeah.
stuff that we need to be talking about with our besties and with our colleagues and with our partners and fucking with our children so they grow
Mm.
up, boys and girls, it doesn't fucking matter the sex they are, that
Mm.
they are aware and they are educated. Angus saw me put my patch on the other day, and I think he must have just forgotten because we talk about it all the time, like to the point they must just go, "Mum, you're an oversharer. You need to stop talking about your period." And he was like, "That's not a pimple patch, eh?" I'm like, "No, no, no. This is my." And then it's going on my tummy. Remember, this is the
Yeah.
one that helps me with my hormones and my moods, and this is the one that's made me, happy again. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. That's
Mm.
right."
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so open with my boys because, like, the more open we are with our kids about what's going on, the more that they can be equipped to deal with this when they have their own partners later on.
Yes.
I talk to the boys about, like, when you guys get a girlfriend, she is going to have a period and a cycle, and this is what it's going to be like when she's ovulating. This is what it's going to be like when she's just about to get her period. Like, I go for a walk with my son and dog every afternoon, and sometimes he's like, "Oh, can we like go down here and here and here for like big long walk?" And I'm like, "I actually don't have the hormones to be able to do that like today, but
Mhm.
like this is not a good time in my cycle, but this will be a much better time." And so then another time we'll go on a really big walk. He likes to run, so we'll go running, and then we'll go down to the river, and like I'll sit down there and he'll play around for an hour. Like, but that's not going to happen every single time, and he
No.
understands that now. So all I need to say now is like, I don't have the hormones to do that, but this would be a better time for me to do that.
I mean, just yeah, the world that you are exposing him to by having those conversations. I mean, yes, it's at like a PG level at the moment that we're having with our boys, but
Ah.
ish, well,
Mine are a bit older.
okay. So, but like the next step for them, or maybe you're in that step with yours at the moment, is in terms of, okay, your partner is going to be, she's going to be more horny at this point in her cycle, or she's going to feel you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is when you take her out on dates and,
This is when she's going to be glowing. She is going to find you the most attractive at
yeah,
this part of her cycle. Like this, if they can
yeah.
know this, their
I
relationship.
haven't quite got to that
That's
point.
what I was saying. Okay, about the PG version. Yeah, I didn't think so. I thought, okay, all right.
Yeah. Oh, it's such good education for them. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if we as girls had our mums talk about this with us.
Game changer. The fact that you can be you can be attracted to different people in different parts of your cycle. There are people
Yeah.
that you would not be attracted to otherwise, except for that one day in a month that you've then made a big oopsie. Like, that's the day I should be staying home.
The day when the bearded men and like the really masculine man, yeah, is going to be attractive. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the mountain men holding axes, like chopping wood.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
chopping wood. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm coming into that part of my cycle now, so I can feel that.
Oh my
Yeah, like
God.
have conversations with people around you and with your kids. Be open about this stuff. I think it's so healthy, so good for them.
Yeah, I was talking to yeah, and with the men in your lives, like I'm just
Mm.
I'm gonna sound like a broken record. I was talking to somebody that was organizing a conference, and they were thinking about having a speaker talk about perimenopause and how this affects women in the workplace. And I went, that's a great idea. Like, amazing. This needs to be talked about more often. And they're like, oh, yeah, we thought about it. And then we decided not to because we realized there's going to be people in the room that aren't all female. I'm like, and they need to know as well because they will be affected in some way, shape, or form, whether that's because their partner's experiencing it, or their daughter's experiencing it, or their mother's experiencing, or a team member. I tell you what,
Mm.
Mark now will come. It's
Mm.
happened a couple of times. He's come off like an intense team meeting or one-on-one catch up with one of his team members who is a female, right? And gone, I think she might be in perimenopause. Like, do I say something? Do I bring it up? I went, well, maybe you need to talk to HR about it. Like, I don't actually know the rules around that. But how great is it that he's gone, that's behavior that
Mm.
isn't in line with what I know with that person. She's in her 40s. Do you think that there's more going on? And so he's then given her a bit of grace and gone away and
Yes.
really thought about what's going on in her life. Like, oh my God,
That is beautiful.
I
There are
know.
no males in any organizations that would even consider that. So he is now well educated, Sam. Well done.
Yeah. And that is why that conversation with that event organizer, I was like,
Mm.
the men need to hear it. We dragged Jason. We dragged Jason Tiller along to an event where he had to sit there and listen to a woman talk about. She touched on perimenopause. I
Mm.
tell you what, and he asked us about how we're sleeping and what dose have you changed your patch. Like, whoever he ends up with is going to be a lucky woman because he's going to know about it as well.
Yes, that understanding and support, and I love that word. I'm sure we are now telepathic. So as you're just telling that story about Mark, I was like, grace is the word that is about to come out of your mouth because being able to give grace to someone who's going through a hard
Mm,
time and understanding why, like that
yeah,
is so beautiful to have that,
yeah.
to be on
You
the
like
receiving end of it.
I will be forever grateful for the grace you gave me because you got a brunt of it. Because I think in the depths of mine, I was probably spending as much of my life with you than I was with
Mm,
Mark. So you were
mm.
getting a
Oh,
50% brunt of it.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
grace that you gave me and the patience that you had and the fact that you just didn't walk away is still mind-blowing.
Well, I mean, imagine how many relationships can be saved just by knowing this knowledge, having this knowledge.
I mean, there's a story of the VA that was listening to our podcast. I think her and her husband were road tripping somewhere, and she put on the podcast. And I think there was probably some eye rolls at the beginning from the husband, going, "Okay, here we go. We've got to listen to Sam and Jill in the car again." And halfway through, it was a perimenopause episode, and halfway through, he turned to her and just said, "Honey, that's you." So guess who made an appointment with the doctor, like, not long afterwards? And
Yeah.
that's not the only conversation that I think us talking about it has then prompted for people to have with their partners. And I'll never forget, I think it was Lance. I think couldn't have been long after we released it, and he must have not. You must have told him. He must have listened to it, and you must have said, "Yeah, Sam didn't want it to go out." And then he listened to it and realized why I didn't want it to go out for that little moment in time. And I remember feeling quite emotional, the fact that he came up and he was just saying, what you did and what you shared, I don't think you realize the impact. And then shared the story about the fact that he then had a conversation with a male friend, and it's like, you need to listen to this because your wife is experiencing it.
Yep. Yep. Saving marriages. Like, well, I'm sure we talked about the stat in the previous one, but like 40 to 50 or 45 to 55 is the peak time for divorce and women suicide. This is how much impact this has on a woman's life and how they feel and how they can cope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything we haven't covered on your list, Sam?
I don't know. Is there anything you want to know about my last year?
Yes.
Anything?
Yeah, let's chat about that.
A year on. I mean, have you what differences have you seen? Are there any differences a year on?
Oh, you're much more stable. Like there's no like massive crying like sessions like we used to have, or and I think a whole lot of understanding now. It's like, oh, I'm not really feeling this. Okay, let's not push that. We're just not going to do that. We'll do it another time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, stable. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I think that the novelty has worn off in terms of all of a sudden that joy that I'd forgotten about. So I was riding that kind of high of, oh my God, this is what it feels like again. So that's worn off, obviously, a year on. But there is such safety in that, just consistency and stability. So I may not be riding high on it anymore, but oh my God, it just feels so good waking up and going, what version of Sam is this going to be today then? Who's everyone going to get?
Mm.
Do I just have to hide under the covers again because it's not going to be a good day for anyone to be anywhere near me?
Oh, yeah. So those days are gone?
Those days have gone.
Yeah.
Have gone. So I'm still on the same dose. I don't think I can go any higher. So I'm at 100.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's working. Like, I don't feel as though, I mean, I'll know if I've forgotten my patch, I'll feel it for sure. I think I get a bit of like anxiety around running out of patches or the right patch for me.
Yep.
There was
Agreed.
there was a period, I think it was about 6-8 months ago, and the is it Pharmac here in New Zealand? What do they call it here?
Yeah,
So Pharmac had made a decision a little while ago that they were no longer going to import or I've lost my word. The word
subsidize.
thank you. Or subsidize the brand of patch that I'm at my best on. And so I had a freak out about that and then kind of got over it. But then at the same time, there's a patch shortage. Couldn't get patches. Like, you legit had to ring around pharmacies in your city, in your town, figuring out who had any patches, not just, you didn't even have the
Wow.
luxury to say what type of patch, just any patches at all. And then
Mm,
if you found somebody that they might have it, but then they very kindly had to tell you, yeah, we have it, but unfortunately, they're for our regular customers, the people that, which
mm.
I totally understand. Like, I would be pissed off if some rando came up to my pharmacy that I'd be like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's my
Yeah.
patch, and they know that I'm coming in every month. Don't give my patches away.
You sound like this is like, like a drug dealer's like area of town and you can't like, go on someone else's patch.
But it yeah, it triggered me too. Oh my
Yeah.
God, if I don't get this, if I don't get my fix, essentially, if I
Mm,
don't get this medicine, I'm going to end up where I was.
yeah.
And that was so terrifying. So, you know, then if I found a pharmacy that had a patch that was able to give it to somebody that doesn't normally go there, I then have to ring the doctor to get
Mm,
them to do another prescription that costs me every time to another pharmacy.
mm.
It was a shit show. And every time I had to, ring up the pharmacy and say, can I have a repeat prescription? There was that kind of like, what are they going to say? They're going to tell me they don't have any again?
Oh, yeah, I remember that time for you. That
Ah,
was
I'm
stressful.
so stressed. And I remember being on
Mm,
the phone with the doctor and I burst into tears. I said, I'm so sorry, but this is so triggering for me. And I cannot go back to what
yeah.
I was. I
Mm,
cannot. So I think that at that point, that's when that she suggested that I try the gel, which I was open to. At that point, it wasn't subsidized. So I was spending 100 something plus dollars a month on getting the gel.
mm,
And it worked. It wasn't great for me. I didn't love it, but at least I knew I had it there.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it was consistent. So then as soon as Pharmac got their shit together and then decided, apparently there was a bit of an uproar. There was so many women here in New Zealand just saying, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? So they actually listen. So
Yeah.
I think they've
The
managed
the
to get
person
more
making
in.
that decision was obviously not a woman.
Oh, it does make you wonder, right? So at the moment, touch wood, I
Mm,
get the patch, the brand that
mm,
I love
mm.
on a regular basis. I think there were major issues. It wasn't just in New Zealand not being able to get in patches in general.
Yeah.
It was a global thing as well.
Oh,
So
well, there's so much education now that, like, there's a lot of people who are going on HRT,
right.
so I get it.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
crazy.
I think that my advice to anyone who is gonna go on HRT is to never leave your repeat doctor's appointment that you need to go on to the last minute, because
Mm-mm.
I booked my doctor's appointment. You can't really get into the doctor very quickly anymore, and I was like, "Cool, I've worked it out." I'd have a patch by the time I still had a patch on by the time I'd go to the doctor's appointment. Then I was starting to do the 75 thing, and so my patches were going down and down and down, and I was like, I needed to change my patch the day after my doctor's appointment. And on the Sunday night, I get a text from the doctor. I'm sorry, but the doctor's not going to be in tomorrow. He's sick. Can you please call to reschedule your appointment? And I panicked. I was like, oh my God, which of my friends is going to have the same patch as me? Who can I go? Where can I get this drug from to get my fix? Because I felt like I was not wanting to go back. Like you say, I did not want that feeling
Mm.
again. It turns out that I managed to talk to, I know the receptionist there. She was like, "Yep, don't worry, I'll get you a repeat prescription, even though I needed to see the doctor again after the 3 month mark. I'll get you a prescription. It'll be like at the pharmacy today." And I went
Oh,
and picked it up.
oh, thank God.
And then I've got an appointment to see the doctor to have the follow up and stuff with him next Monday. So yeah, so
Amazing.
don't leave it. Don't plan out to get it while you're like have no spare patches, just in case.
If you're going away, make sure you've got enough. Make sure you pack them.
Mm, yeah, I forgot them. I had to go for 2 days without one. It was not fun.
Once again, like an immediate kind of getting back to the old symptoms again.
Yeah, yeah.
Incredible, incredible. The other thing I want to touch on, I don't know if you remember this, but gosh, would it have been about 6 to 8 months ago when I was at the doctor, not the doctor, the dentist. Do you remember all those
Mm.
issues I was having? And I ended up having what they call it, an unexplained root canal, or an unexplained dead tooth. Basically, my tooth, for no reason whatsoever, there's no cavity there, there was nothing going on, it just died. And so I needed a root canal, which I was very upset about, as you can imagine.
Mhm.
And it turns out, I might get this stat wrong. It's been a while since I've read the articles. I think it's 1 in 3 women going
Mhm.
through perimenopause will lose a tooth just unexpectedly. This is perimenopause that is doing this to you. There's women that their tooth will just fall out. It will crumble and fall out. That didn't happen to me.
Wow.
There are women that all of a sudden are experiencing gum disease that they've never experienced. There are
Mm.
women that all of a sudden need a dozen cavities in their mouth and they've never had a filling before. It is hormonal.
Yeah,
Now
your
I
hormones.
had to teach my dentist about this because it took ages, right? Because there was nothing going on. I must have been in once a
Oh,
week for a
yeah.
month saying
Yeah.
there's something happening. There is something happening. I'm having this pain, but it's moving. And they're like, well, where's the pain right now? I don't have it right now. But an hour ago it was here. Last night it was here.
Yeah.
And so I saw 3 dentists. They all took x-rays. They all said there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Like, we don't know what's going on with you. The 4th time I went back, luckily they were listening. Luckily they didn't think I was crazy. Well, maybe they did think I was crazy. They weren't telling me. So they did the whole thing again. All of a sudden, my tooth had died. Like within a week.
Wow.
Within a week. And once again, they were just like, well, it happens. We call it an unexplained blah, 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 whatever it was. So I had to go through the whole root canal thing anyway. And it wasn't until I'd finally got through all that. Thankfully, I've still got my tooth. Like, it's still there. It's dead, but it's still there. That I came across an article and then did more research, and the stat had come up. So the next time I
Mm.
went to the dentist, because now I have to go every 4 months, I have to go to the dentist because my hormones are still fucking crazy and still doing all this stuff. There's supplements that I take that help with gum health. So that's added to the 2030 supplements I now take. And I was like, oh, so yeah, have a read of this. I'd printed it all out, and this particular dentist, she has gone through perimenopause, and even she, as a dentist, didn't know this. She was like,
Are
"Oh,
medical professionals not researching and reading and doing their own education once they have got qualified?
I don't know. I don't know."
Surely that's part of it, that you have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we said at the
Mm.
beginning that we're not medical professionals, but at this point, I reckon we probably could do it.
Like, we could tell them what the hell is going on with every woman in their 40s.
Yeah, we're on call. We can be the over 40 consultant. We just like pop it into the. We're sitting in the waiting room, just waiting for the women in their 40s to come in. And would you like us to join you in your appointment?
Yeah, we could be advocates for them. Yes.
Oh my god, we'd be the
Yeah.
best. We'd be
Yeah.
so
Okay,
good
we
at that.
do not need any other business ideas or anything else to take up our time, okay, so.
We'd make a good, but anywho. Yeah. So there's a dentist thing to be aware of if you don't
Mm,
already.
mm,
And then I've also been on my skin journey because
mm.
crazy. My skin has changed something chronic. I never used to have skin problems. I used to have the occasional like hormonal flare-ups. Perimenopause hit and I was like, what is going on with my skin? This is just crazy. And I tried to kind of fix it myself and I tried to kind of change my skincare routines and it was just guessing, right? And then in the end I was like, I need a professional to look at my skin and to make sure that what I'm putting on my skin is actually suitable for the issues. Because I wasn't sure, right? One of them was
Mm.
the redness that was happening. And it's like, is it rosacea? Like, I don't even know. Or is it sensitivity? What's happening? Is this just my skin now? Do I just put up with it? Is it just old skin?
Mm.
And like, I knew my gut was fixed. What I was putting inside my body was all good. So, okay, next step, what am I putting on my skin? So I ended up going to the Casey clinic to have like a consultation. Once again, mind blown. Guess what? Guess what, Joe?
Oh, perimenopause affects your skin?
Yeah, rosacea.
It's hormones, right?
There's
Yeah.
perimenopause related rosacea. There's women that have never had rosacea in their life. Once again, you hit perimenopause. It's almost like, I mean, they dumbed it down for me, but in very non-technical terms, she was like, well, think about it. It's like having a hot flush but in your face. I was like, oh yeah, my face always feels hot. I didn't think I was having hot flushes, but in actual fact, if I think about it, my face is always warm. My cheeks are always warm.
Wow. Right. I mean, hot flushes are different for lots of different people, right?
Right.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Yep. Different strokes for different folks, different symptoms for different women in their 40s.
All right. I hope that us being vulnerable about this, talking about this, has helped you figure out whether you might be in perimenopause, what your next step might be, because like overarching, my advice is you do not have to suffer. You don't have to put up with this. There are things that you can do, especially if you can hand on heart now say, yeah, I actually don't feel joy. It doesn't have to be like that. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the mastermind and the amazing resources, courses, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.